We've gotten a lot of requests from agents about, hey, how do we find our contacts? How do we sort them, filter them, tag them properly so that we can find them again, put them into lists, etc. So that's what today's training is going to be about. First thing we need to do is upload a list. So I've got a list, and you could download this off of, let's say, the MFG site where all of your policies that you've sold are. This is just a bunch of fake names that I created. The carrier IDs are here, the carrier names, all the different carriers. We've got their fake email addresses and fake phone numbers. So we're going to upload this into a demo account, and I'll show you how we do it. First thing we need to do is make sure that all of these rows across the top, the header row, we have to make sure that these are fields inside the database. Well, we know that first name, last name are valid fields. The date of birth is a valid field. Email, phone number are valid fields. But these fields in the center are not standardized fields, so we need to create them. So the first one is policy type, then carrier ID, carrier name, effective date, and status reason, and Humana or carrier application date. We'll change that to carrier application date. And there we go. So let's go and do that first. So how we do that is we go to the dashboard. When we log in, we're going to go to settings, and we want to go to custom fields. First thing we want to do is we want to create a new folder. And remember, there's a nomenclature. So let's figure out what folder number we're up to. Looks like we're up to about 13. So this would be 14. If you're going to be just doing a one-off, then just label it something generic, but try and keep the numbering sequences in place. It'll make it a lot easier when you do stuff later on, easier to find it. So we have a folder name, 14, and we're going to save that one. And we're going to go down to that folder. It's going to be at the bottom. I'm sorry. We should probably name that something a little bit more descriptive than just 14, right? So let's go back down to the bottom and call that. We're going to edit this. We're going to rename this. And this is carrier contact lists, or policy sold. Let's call it policy sold. Sold all carriers. Hit the capital button there. Okay. So carrier policy sold all carriers. And clean that up a little bit. Put some parens around that. There we go. So there we go. I'm going to open up that folder, and I'm going to add the first field. What was the first field? First field was policy type. So we're just going to name that. Now you could name this 14.A, 14.0A, B, C, and do it like that. Or you could just do 14.1.2. I'll leave you, figure it out. I'm not going to use that. I'm just going to go single line. And this is policy type. Copy that and put it into the placeholder as well. The next one is the carrier ID. So let's put that in there. Single line. Next one is the carrier name. And the next one is the effective date. And you want to use the date picker for that. And the next one is status. And the next one is status reason. And I don't see a whole lot of difference between status and status reason. So I'm not even going to use this field. I'm just going to skip it. Next one is the carrier application date. And again, we're going to use the date picker for that. All right, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're skipping this one, so 6. And all the rest are standardized fields, so we don't need to enter those. Okay, now this one is already saved on my drive, so we're going to import this list now. Let's go back to the main, and we're going to go to contacts. And up on the top here, we've got these little small radio buttons, the small ones. And we're going to click import contacts. And we're going to upload this file. There's my sold policies file. And you do have to make sure that this is a CSV file, comma, separated value, CSV. You cannot upload a XLS file or an Excel spreadsheet. You have to save that file as a CSV file. So sold policies, CSV. I'm going to copy that. So I don't need the middle initial, so I'm just going to skip that. I don't need to create a field for it. Status reason, we didn't create that one. So I'm going to say don't import the data for unmatched columns. So right now we've got all green check marks over here. Now, if something did not match properly, let's say the carrier ID, then you would just click out and type a search for the correct one. Okay. And then click next. I'm going to click advanced here so you can see everything. Now it's going to say, okay, here's the import name, and we're going to name it exactly what the file name is, which is sold policies. Now we have an option here. What do you want to do with the contacts in the CSV file? You can add new and update existing contact records, add new contact records, or update the existing. We're going to add new and update the existing. We're going to add a tag here also, and we're going to add the tag sold. Add new contacts. We're not going to add this to a workflow. We just want to get them into the database. So let's click submit. This will take a minute or two. There was only 130, 140 names on there. So let's check the status. It's processing, show status. So that's all updating now. So we'll give that a few minutes and we'll come back to it. Okay, I gave it a minute or two and it imported all those records. So now we've got 151 records. We already had like 10 or 15 records in there. So it just added it to it. Now, if you want to check the status of the list that you just imported, you can go to bulk actions at the top and you'll see here sold policies, bulk import. You can view the details. And over here, there's show the status. 136 created, 0 updated, 0 errors. If you had any errors or if for some reason it did not import all 136, then most likely the contact was already in the database and it will not create a duplicate. So there's no reason to create duplicates. We don't like duplicates. We want to keep this a clean database. If it has the same email or phone number, it will not create it. Okay, so there's that. And let's go back to Smart Lists. Okay, so now that we've got the list of names in here, and what we want to do is we want to create what's known as a Smart List. And the Smart List will show up here right at the top, and it just makes it a lot easier to find contacts later on. So the first thing I want to do is, if you notice, I tagged all of these with the word sold. So I can do a filter over here on the right-hand side, and I'm going to search up a filter called tag. And there's the tag, and you have a couple options: is not, is empty, is not empty, or any of. So if you had an or situation, but we're just going to type in sold. And we click apply. Can't really see it behind this, but this is an apply. And now we've got the list here, and you can kind of see it behind here. It's 136. So we're going to save this right here. There's save as a Smart List. And we're going to have sold policies. All carriers. And click Save. And you'll notice it created a nice little list here of only those 136. And if you click here, here's all. Is this 151 right here? And if I want to just look at my sold policies, there it is, 136. So let's get a little bit more detailed though. I'm going to go back to all. And I'm going to create a different filter for this. The first filter I'm going to do is the tag again. And tag is sold. And click apply. And then I also want to add in a second filter. And the other filter is, let's say the carrier name, right? So the carrier name, and we want to say that, let's just put Humana. And we're going to click apply. So now it's looking for everything with the carrier name is Humana, but this is an or, right? So we want sold and Humana. So we need to get rid of this because that's we don't want an or, we want an and. So there's the and right here. And now we type in tag. So a lot of people have been messing that up. They keep doing an or search when they need to do an and search. So if we have Humana and sold as the filter and we save this, so now we go Humana sold policies. And we don't have any. Maybe I spelled Humana wrong here. So let me look up some of these carriers here. So let's go pull up Virginia Weaver here. I was very creative with my names. And we're going to go down to right here. And the carrier name, let's just use Aetna because we know that is one. So now we have to edit this one, right? Because Humana was not in there apparently. So I need to edit this. So you can go to Manage Smart Lists. And you can either delete it and start from scratch. Okay. We're just going to go back to the Humana. And we're going to change those filters up. Carrier name is, let's edit this. And we're going to change that to Aetna. And we're going to resave this. And close it out so I can see it. There you go. So now we've got 34 out of those 136 sold. But now this says Humana, but this is actually a Aetna list, right? So we need to edit the name. So we're going to go back to Manage Smart Lists and Humana Sold Policies. We're going to edit this. And we're going to save it as a new. And it's Aetna. And delete that copy off of there. And click Save. But now we need to get rid of this one. So we go back to Manage Smart Lists. And we're just going to delete this one. No need for it. So bye-bye. If you need to reorder these, like I don't want Aetna here, I want it alphabetical. So I'm just going to click and drag that to the top. So now Aetna is here. And let's say I want the sold policies next to there. There you go. So now it's in the order that I want. I can exit that and just click on all. All right, that is the basic of uploading a list and filters. In the next one, we'll get a little bit more detailed. Okay.